Hello, good morning. Today we are going to discuss unit number 7, Programmable Communication Interface and 8087 NDP, that is Numeric Data Processor. 3 points we have to discuss in this chapter. First bit is 8087 Numeric Data Processor. Second bit is NDP data types. And third bit is processor architecture. So in the first bit, we are going to get the introduction about 8087 numeric data processor NDP, some of its features, its pin diagram we'll see. In the second bit, we are going to discuss about the various data types the NDP math coprocessor supports, and in the third bit, we are going to see in detail the block diagram architecture of 8087 NDP math coprocessor. So let us start with the first bit, that is 8087 numeric data processor. In the introduction we can see, first of all, what do you mean by a math coprocessor? Because 8087 it is a math coprocessor. What do you mean by a math coprocessor? The word coprocessor is used because it runs in parallel with the main processor, that is microprocessor. 8087 it is compatible and it is designed or built to be paired with the 16-bit microprocessors such as 8086 or 8088. So when these microprocessors are running in parallel to them, the 8087 math coprocessor runs or works. So the term coprocessor is used here. What does it do? The math coprocessor, what does it do? Let us understand. Starting with 8087, it was the first math coprocessor for 16-bit processors as mentioned, that is 8086 and 8088. It is a 40-pin IC which uses the HMOS technology. It is referred to as a coprocessor because, as I said, it is used in parallel with the main processors, that is 8086 or 8088. So it is as good as a processor. What it does, let us discuss. The main processor, that is 8086, 8088, these processors, they handle the general program execution, whereas the 8087 math coprocessor, it handles the specialized math computations. That means it is dedicatedly used for performing the complicated mathematical operations. Complicated mathematical operations may be including the mathematical operations on very small numbers or very big numbers, on the floating point numbers, on logarithmic numbers, or any other computational functions, etc. So if these complex tasks would have been performed, suppose by 8086, then 8086 will be indulged or engaged in those works for a long time. So to make the 8086 microprocessor free from doing these works, we are using the 8087 math coprocessor, which is dedicatedly doing the complex mathematical operations on behalf of 8086 microprocessor. So 8087 math coprocessor, it provides the functions meant specifically for high performing numeric processing requirements. As I said, high processing numeric functions which will be requiring very complex calculations. It does all the calculations involving floating point numbers like scientific calculations and algebraic calculations or functions. In the floating point numbers, we can have single precision floating points and double precision floating points. That is 32-bit floating point numbers, 64-bit floating point numbers, etc. Again, apart from these functions, the 8087 it performs various trigonometric, logarithmic and exponential functions that are built into the coprocessor hardware. What it does? It does only the complex functions or calculations. What it does not? That means some simple operations, some simple arithmetic tasks such as simple addition, subtraction, multiplication and division on the simple numbers. Such operations will not be performed by 8087 math coprocessor. Those operations, that is simple operations, will be taken care by 8086 microprocessor. Next, 8087 coprocessor, thus it frees the CPU's time, as I mentioned. The complicated task will be performed by 8087. So 8086 CPU, it will be freed for doing the another intelligent tasks. Moreover, when you are using 8087 microprocessor, it has got its own 68 number of instructions, also called as mnemonics, of its own. So when you are using 8087 with 8086 microprocessor, those 68 mnemonics or instructions will be added into the instruction set of 8086. Now 8086 has got two types of instructions in its instruction set. Its own instructions that are supported, decoded and executed by 8086 microprocessor. Apart from this, 68 instructions which will be supported, decoded and executed by 8087 math coprocessor for your microprocessor. Any processor that you are using, it decodes all the instructions in the instruction queue but executes only its own instructions. That means whenever a program is to be executed by the microprocessor, it will be fetching the instructions of those programs into its instruction queue. Out of those instructions in the instruction queue, the microprocessor will execute only the instructions which are from its own instruction set, while the instructions which are belonging to those 68 instructions of 8087 math coprocessor will be directed or diverted to be executed by 8087 math coprocessor. And to identify the math coprocessor's instructions, there is a escape instruction used or preceded in every instruction of 8087. That is, every instruction of 8087, it will be having a preceding letters ESC, that is escape, such that microprocessor 8086 can understand that those instructions are supposed to be executed by 8087 math coprocessor. So like 8086, the 8087 coprocessor, it also has got an instruction queue. We will see it in the architecture. In the instruction queue of 8087, it will be getting the instructions to be executed arranged in the queue. So while decoding, if 8087 finds an 8086 instruction, then what it does? It simply avoids those instructions, considering them as NOP, that is no operation instruction. Now 8087 math operations, specifically they include logarithmic, arithmetic, experimental and trigonometric functions, complicated operations in short. The 8087 math coprocessor, it supports various data formats or data types that we are going to discuss ahead. Three main data types or data formats are supported by 8087 math coprocessor, such as integer, in that short, long, such kind of integers. In the floating point, again short, real, temporary, these kind of floating point numbers. And in the BCD format, the binary numbers will be supported. 8087, it also follows the IEEE floating point standards. Okay, so in short, 8087, it will be used whenever the applications, they require very fast calculations to be performed, and those operations, fast calculations, will be performed by 8087 math coprocessor. So try to understand the concept. 8087 math coprocessor, name itself suggests, it is wholly and dedicatedly used for performing mathematical operations, complicated mathematical operations, on behalf of 8086 microprocessor. So most of the time that would have been consumed by 8086 for performing these tasks will be freed now. CPU will get this time for performing other important tasks. Okay, so after learning the basics of 8087 math coprocessor, NDP, that is numeric data processor, let us go ahead to discuss its pin diagram. This is the pin diagram of 8087 math coprocessor. You can see 40 pin architecture is there. Pin number 1 to 20 on left hand side, pin number 21 to 40 on right hand side. Most of the pins, they are similar, we have seen, and their working is very much similar to the pins of 8086 microprocessor. You can see pin number 1 and 20 are ground. Pin number 40 is VCC. So these are power supply related pins. Pin numbers 80 to 8014, they will be 80 to 8015, these 16 pins will be used for carrying the address and data. Pin number 38, 37, 36, 35, they are multiplexed with status pins. S3, S4, S5, S6 multiplexed with, time multiplexed with A16, A17, A18 and A19. These status pins, they will be having the fixed value, that is S3, S4 and S6, they will be permanently high, whereas S5 will be permanently low. Okay, that is the requirement of the math coprocessor. Then on the left hand side, you can see pin number 19 is clock pin, which gives the timing clock required for functioning of 8087. Two pins 17 and 18, they are not connected for any purpose, so they are unused. Pin number 34, BHE bar oblique S7, bus high enable. When it is low, the high order address will be available on the high order address bus. That is the indication. 33 number pin, request oblique grant, RQ bar oblique GT bar 1. It works or functions very much similar to the request grant pin of 8257 DMA controller. We have studied that in DMA controller. The request grant pin, what it does, it accepts the control of the buses from 8086 microprocessor. So 8087 will become the master of these buses for performing various operations. So two such pins are available, pin number 33 and pin number 31, RQ bar oblique GT bar 1, RQ bar oblique GT bar 0. 2 pins dedicatedly used for requesting and granting the control of the buses from 8086 microprocessor to become the master of those buses. INT pin used for generating the interrupt. S0, S1, S2, again these are the status pins. They will be deciding what operation is currently going to be performed by 8087 math coprocessor. Various operations such as memory read, memory write, IO read, IO write, etc. Such memory cycles or operation cycles will be indicated by these status pins S0, S1, S2. Pin number 26, 27 and 28. Pin number 29 and 30, they are not used for any purpose. They are not connected. NC. Next is pin number 24 and 25, QS0 and QS1. Q status 0 and Q status 1. These two pins, they work exactly similar to the Q status pins of 8086 microprocessor. What they do? They give the status of the instruction queue of 8087 math coprocessor. That means 8087 math coprocessor, it has got its own instruction queue and its status. There are various status such as whether the queue is empty, whether the first byte of the queue has to be fetched. Such different types of status can be indicated by QS0 and QS1 pins, so that 8086 accordingly can get or understand the status of the instruction queue of 8087 math coprocessor. Pin number 23 is busy pin. It indicates that currently the 8087 is busy performing some task. Next is ready pin, pin number 22. It is used to indicate that 8087 is ready to perform the operations which will be indicated to the external peripherals or microprocessor. Pin number 21, reset pin. It is an input pin. The reset out signal of 8086 will be connected to reset pin, that is pin number 21 of 8087, such that 8087 will be restarts, that is it stops its currently performing internal operations and it restarts or resets itself. So this is in short the pin diagram of 8087 math coprocessor. Here maximum number of pins, they function very much exactly same as that of the pins of 8086 microprocessor. Okay, and the explanation in short is given on the further slides. We have seen these things during the discussion of pin diagram. You can see the table has been given for Q status pins QS0 and QS1. Because two bits are used, 4 possible status can be available. If pins QS0 and QS1 will be having value 0, 0, it indicates that no operation is being performed. If it is having value 0, 1, it indicates first byte of opcode from the queue has to be fetched. If the values are 1, 0 on QS0 and QS1, it indicates the queue is currently empty. And if the values on QS0 and QS1 are 1, 1, it indicates that subsequent byte from the queue has to be fetched. Whichever byte in the queue its turn is, that subsequent byte has to be fetched. So that is all about the pin diagram explanation of 8087 math coprocessor. So we have discussed the basics of 8087 math coprocessor. We have seen some introduction part. You have seen some features. We have seen why the 8087 math coprocessor is used. We have seen various aspects about 8087 math coprocessor. Secondly, we have discussed about the pin diagram architecture of 8087 math coprocessor. 40 pin architecture is there, which uses the HMOS technology. All these pins, in mostly they will be having the similar function as that of the 8086 microprocessor. So 8087, it can be considered as another microprocessor. Please remember, it is not a microprocessor, but it can be considered as another processor which performs the dedicated tasks of performing complicated or complex mathematical operations on behalf of or for 8086 microprocessor, such that the 8086 microprocessor during that time, or it can utilize its time for performing other important and intelligent tasks, and 8086 can give the maximum services to its connected resources. Okay, so here we'll stop the introduction part and pin diagram part of 8087 math coprocessor. In the next lecture, we'll discuss about the various data formats and data types that are supported by 8087 math coprocessor. Because if you want to learn the math coprocessor, you must know what kind of numbers it can handle, what kind of data it can take as input, and what kind of various data formats it supports. So those things we'll discuss in the next slides. Thank you very much.